Hey guys, Eternize here. Welcome to the new studio. This is new for you and for me as well, and I'm very excited and looking forward to be spending a lot of time here. It's not entirely finished, but we're getting there, and I'm sure we'll be doing a tour at some point. But what we're going to be talking about today is about some hardstyle history and how we can potentially learn from it, because there's a lot to be learned from just looking at how tracks have evolved over time. So the plan is to pick out some tracks from different eras in hardstyle and see what we can learn from them. Here we go. So the first track that we're going to be looking at is The Dark Side by Alpha Twins, the Climax 2006 anthem. You gotta love these early hardstyle track intros. A very mysterious atmosphere so far. Here's the kick. So the flat early hardstyle kick, very typical of the time.
It dominates your nightmares.
And again, very mysterious atmosphere here.
Key of all.
Very dark, creepy, emotional. Again, the flat kick. No pitched kicks here. And even in the main part here is very spacious, very dynamic. You can hear every instrument has its place. Yeah, and then a long outro as well. So what we notice is very long intros, something that is very common for tracks at the time. And they really put a lot of effort into these regions of the track. And I for myself, I really enjoy these long intros exactly for that reason. You can hear that it's like a part of the track, and they use the intros to really guide you into the track at that time. Another thing very common for the time was this very dark atmosphere, and it's also very present in this track, you know, that dark underground tone of the track that really is really common for early melodic hardstyle tracks. Let's talk about the characteristics of the track. It's a slower BPM, at least compared to today. The mix is super spacious and very dynamic, and that in part is also due to the slower BPM. A slower BPM kinda allows you to fit more in the mix and allows for more detail to stand out easier. The last thing I want to touch on about this track is the overall balance of the mix. It has this noticeable smile curve. What is a smile curve? It's when you analyze a track with a spectrum analyzer and you see a dip in the middle. So it means that the track is more bright and more bottom heavy. Personally, I like a good smile curve. I think it sounds pleasant, but the trade-off is loudness, because when you retract the midtones, you also take away some loudness. Alright, the next track to look at is Headhunters with End of My Existence. Again, very long intro here. Again, a very mysterious tone and atmosphere in this track. Super long intro or break here. Super emotional, like dystopian. And then we have the intro of the melody here. A super long outro as well. So most of the characteristics of the previous track is also present here. So again, we have long intros, long outros. The general feel of the track, like the emotion, is very pronounced here. It's something that they really focused on at the time. We also have the smile curve. It has a noticeable dip in the middle. This track also has a pretty slow BPM, which is to be expected since we're still in the same era as with the first track. One fundamental thing that has changed here is the fact that this track uses pitched kicks. pitch kicks was found in earlier tracks as well, but like 2007 was really the time where this would become the standard going forwards. And Headhunters was the front figure for this. For the next track, we're going to jump forwards a couple of years to 2010 with JDX Live the Moment. Ah, that intro. You all know it.
The present has a home.
Yep.
Let regret live alone.
You know the vocals.
Time flies.
Again, a very long part here with the introduction of, you know, the melody and so on. Beautiful, beautiful. Still a very long outro here as well. Alright, so to me, everything here seems to just have gotten a facelift. From the last two tracks into this one, everything has gotten a facelift. So we have some pretty unique sound design here, like especially in the intro. Some very creative sounds coming out of JDX here. The overall EQ balance is more flat, so we've gotten rid of the smile curve from the previous two tracks. To me, this track is super well balanced in terms of dynamics to loudness ratio. Of course, we have one of the best melodies ever written. We have the beautiful vocals by Sarah Mariah. And the atmosphere and emotion is just on another level. It kind of turned from that previous more dark feeling to this now more feeling of heroism and happiness and sadness all at the same time. And I think all of these things really was what made the golden age of hardstyle. Everything just seemed to be peaking here, right? We have the pitched kicks, we have balanced tracks, we have emotion, we have melodies, we have innovation. Everything just seemed to come together in tracks of this era, and this track is a great example of it. Alright, next track we're jumping 9 years forward to 2019 with Darkest Hour by D-Block and Estefan and Sub-Zero Project. Okay, very loud right from the get-go. Shorter intro. Very nice atmosphere here, mysterious and emotional. Great melody.
Your time has come, there's no way out. The door.
Yeah, that's a great track. And a short outro to end the track. Right, so first thoughts is that it's very loud, right? Right from the get-go, noticeably louder than the previous tracks. For the dynamics, it's not like it's completely lost its dynamics, because the track still has a lot of impact, but it definitely is a squashed mix. What else? The track starts and finishes very quickly. The producers are no longer putting a lot of effort into these regions of the tracks. And there's actually a good reason for them not to do this anymore. It's pretty much a combination of many things at once that made them stop doing this. One, it's time. They simply don't have the same time anymore. They're spending less and less time in the studio and more time traveling. So the little time they have left in the studio, of course they want to use that for the more exciting stuff, the more important part in a track. Number 2, streaming. So Spotify made it mainstream to only play the middle part of the track. So the intro and outro are actually never played anymore. And so as more and more consume music through streaming, it pretty much made the intro and outro abundant. The only reason why we still have intros is that it's required for DJing, right? And even that is questionable these days. So number 3, the more dark side of it, of music, more about economics and business. So if we take Spotify's payout system, a song has to be played for 30 seconds for it to be regarded as one stream for the song. So Spotify rewards the producer the same whether the track has been played for 30 seconds or for 5 minutes. So why would the producer spend any longer than necessary when 30 seconds is enough? Sorry about the light, guys. The light just went out, so we're gonna continue without it. Back to the track. I will say this though, it still manages to pack a lot of atmosphere and emotion and actually take the time to focus on these parts as well. So to the point I made before, this track is definitely not just a money grab. And I think we're also starting to see a trend here because all of the tracks that reach a legend status, as this track has, it's the same elements that pop up. It's a strong melody, it's a great atmosphere and emotion, and actually allocated time for that in the track as well. And then we have the pitched kicks, and it has a modern sound, both in terms of sound design, but also mix-wise. So, a loud mix. For the last track, we're going to move forward to present day. This is Moving On by D-Block and Estefan and Radical Redemption. Faster BPM with this one. Straight into a mid-intro kick. Alright, so again, a very short intro. It's quickly into the track, right? And then we're getting some different kicks in the mid-intro. And this has been a trend for a few years now, where producers use the mid-intro to be creative and try out different sounds and different kicks. Now, some producers really have capitalized on this and pretty much made it their entire identity to make tracks that entirely consist of different kicks. Now, whether you like this or not, this has definitely become a trend for the past couple of years. Another thing on the structure of the track. Things are moving fast, right? We no longer have 1 minute long emotional intros. It's quickly moving from one part to the next in the track. So going from mid-intro, we're quickly moving into the melody, and from the melody quickly into the climax. It's high energy, it's high engagement, and that's also a clear trend in tracks of today. 1 minute intros no longer exist. It's all about high engagement all the time. And also this track just straight up ends after the climax, and that's also common today. Let's talk about the mix. It's pretty much maximized in any way it can, okay? It has a flat frequency curve, it's maximized in the dynamic department, it's wide, it's crisp, it's clean, it's clipped. Everything is dialed up all the way, you can't really squeeze any more out of a track. And that's also pretty much what you can expect from Hardstyle today, right? Most tracks are like this or close to it. So now let's look at what we as producers can actually learn from this little trip down memory lane. So what I've done is that I've listed all of the things that were trending back in the day and what's trending present day. This way we can get a clear picture of what elements we as producers should actually focus on when creating music. This, of course, if we want our music to fit in with modern standards of today. So if you want to follow the trends of today, you should be able to tick all or most of these boxes. First, about the structure, short intro and little to no outro, okay? Creative mid-intro with multiple different kicks. That's the trend today. High energy and high engagement all the time, meaning very short breaks. We have pitched kicks and then we have a strong melody. And for the mix, that's pretty easy. We have a flat EQ curve, we have little to no dynamics, and of course, generally a loud mix. Now, do I say that these trends and structures are the only way to go? Of course not, and I don't follow these trends myself, but at least it's good to know that at least there are some general guidelines that you should follow if you want your music to have the best chance at reaching a broad audience. Alright guys, that's all I had for you today. Big things are coming. Hit that like and subscribe button to stay up to date. See you in the next video. Bye.